I love pink. I love pink. I love pink. Everything I have is pink. Almost everything. That's a goal I have though. But really, a big question that comes to mind is why pink? I think the average person on the street, anybody really who isn't an absolute pink obsessor, pink enjoyer such as myself would ask, oh, why do you like pink? Like, it's just a color, it's just a silly little girly color that ballet dancers wear, little girls wear, and princesses and everything in between, all of those things. But really, I think there's more to what meets the eye for pink. Today I'll be using the fashion article, more like fashion collection journal, called Pink, The History of a Punk, Pretty, Powerful Color, edited by Valerie Steele, but has multiple authors. I'll be using the first two articles in this book, which are called Pink, the title of the book, and then Panavision Pink, Deceptively Demure by Deborah Nadelman Landis. So, to get started on why there's more to pink than what meets the eye. But pink just has and possesses great historical, gender-specific, sexual, and political contexts that we can get into today. Human beings have been able to perceive pink since forever, but an actual term for pink hasn't been around since about the medieval era. The English word pink seems to have been named after a species of flowers with the genus Dianthus. They could be white, pink, lavender, or red. Meanwhile, in France, there were two terms for pink or red. Pink obviously has a closeness to red because red is simply pink but just with a lighter hue. However, pink obviously it's a separate color on its own. So the word rouge was a more red color, something like a deeper, darker rose. And rose within the word itself is kind of pink. Some roses, wild roses especially, can be a lighter red, still pinkish looking, perhaps a little bit more magenta. Within the fashion context, pink was indeed used for clothes around this era, but flowers that were often used for dyes did not make quite very good dyes, as the color would fade and simply wasn't as brilliant, say, as another natural resource called Brazilium that was taken from the New World and brought into Europe for the sake of better looking clothes. However, so the French royal court popularized pink in the 18th century thanks to Madame Pompadour, so besides using it for her clothes, she often wore it inside portraits. She also would often douse or absolutely just bombard her face with rouge. Pink wasn't only popular inside Europe, it also had a striking in Japan around 750 CE, where vibrant reds were a sort of name holder for pinks. Face rouge inside Tong, China was called Fen To. Also inside India, pink was also a widely popular color. In the book The Sari, described the shopping habits of Indian women for special occasions, calling a certain shade the bordello look. Pink came into season after World War II because during the war, women or simply fashion was a little bit more practical and less fashionable just because there were supply chain stops, and often colors took on after grays, blues, beiges, or anything that was a little bit more professional that would signify that you are a working person. Meanwhile, after the war, and obviously within the US, there was the post-war boom where there was economic prosperity, people were happy the war was over, and people thought, well, I can just get on with my everyday life now, but it's even better because I can buy way more things now. However, with this, pink was seen as a color that was a little bit more about freedom and expression and wealth and being able to buy this pink, disgusting, although I would probably like it, kitchen or bathroom. Anyways, so I think a few fashion ensembles that I could touch on in this time would be Marilyn Monroe's famous gown in the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend scene in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which came out in 1953. There was another musical number called Think Pink from the movie Funny Face, which came out in 1957.
Banish the black, burn the blue, and bury the beige. From now on, girls, think pink. Think pink when you shop for summer clothes.
So pink being a color of prominence and also femininity, obviously being associated with women, you must wonder, well, why is pink associated with females or womanhood or women and girls and even babies? So within the Western world, pink is often associated with girls and blue is for boys. One could imagine that pink for girls, blue for boys was a social norm past World War II, or just has been for the entire 19th century. However, this is a misconception within itself because this idea has been a heavily debated subject for some time. Getting into, again, some more historical contexts, however, this still pertains to gender. Pastel colors were often very expensive and only afforded by the aristocracy. So around the time of the Enlightenment period, where democracy and capitalism came into more view, these colors that were often unaffordable or inaccessible to the general people grew more out of fashion or were just for women, as men were the leaders of this period, and therefore men adopted more somber, subtle, darker colors such as black or brown, beige, blue, what have you. And prior to this era, say in the Baroque era, men also wore pink. It was not uncommon for men to wear pink. It wasn't necessarily as gendered as it was right now. However, it still was indeed a woman's color because pink was associated with youth And it was even satirized that if older women wore too much pink, they were often trying too hard to latch onto youth.